She gave up food for books. The millionaire CEO's shocking decision at 3 a.m. will haunt you forever. In the dead of night, the world was quiet. But inside the shimmering glass tower of Helix Corp, shadows flickered ominously. Emma Lee, the young, billion-dollar CEO, sat alone in her office, surrounded by towering shelves of books. It wasn't the latest business strategy or the hottest tech that consumed her thoughts, it was the strange pact she had made with herself. She had given up food for books. What kind of madness led to such an extreme decision? It wasn't just about losing weight or trendy diets, no, this was something deeper, something unsettling. As the clock struck 3, the air grew thick with anticipation. Emma's pulse quickened, the gravity of her choice sinking in. She felt a tightness in her chest. What was happening to her? Each book was more than just pages, they were gateways to unknown worlds. The colors of their spines glinted in the dim light, almost beckoning to her. They promised knowledge, power, but at what cost? The room was filled with an eerie silence, save for the low hum of fluorescent lights that felt almost taunting. How long could she go on? It felt like she was walking a tightrope, teetering on the edge of insanity. One particularly strange book caught her eye. Its cover was embossed with symbols that seemed to twist and move when she looked too closely. She leaned in, heart racing. Were those whispers she heard? They crept into her mind like a siren's call, urging her to open it. But would that lead to her salvation or her doom? The uncertainty was palpable. Would her brilliant mind unravel under the pressure? At that moment, all she knew was an overwhelming sense of dread mixed with a burning curiosity that she couldn't shake off. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. With a trembling hand, she reached for the mysterious book. An electric jolt surged through her fingertips as she lifted it off the shelf. The whispers grew louder, chaotic voices clashing and melding into a chilling symphony. Emma's breath caught in her throat. Reality seemed to warp, surroundings fading into shadows as the pages fluttered open with a mind of their own. She felt a wave of cold air rush past her, and for a fleeting moment, everything around her dimmed, blinding darkness, consuming light. A sudden realization struck her like a lightning bolt. What if these books held the key to power, or worse, a curse? The hairs on the back of her neck stood at attention. It was then that a loud crash echoed through her office, jolting her back to reality. What was that? Had someone or something entered? A bone-chilling silence engulfed the office once more, but Emma could feel the weight of unseen eyes watching her. Was this the moment where curiosity would lead her to break her pact? Could she turn back now? Questions spiraled in her mind as she felt a spine-tingling urge to dive deeper into the unknown. All she could do was stare at the book, wondering what secrets lay within, and what price she might pay to uncover them. Emma's heart raced as she clutched the book. Its ancient leather cover felt unnaturally warm against her palm, throbbing like a heartbeat. The symphony of whispers crescendoed, pulling her deeper into their spell. She was paralyzed by a mixture of fear and fascination. Outside, the city slept, blissfully ignorant of the chaos unfolding within the walls of Helix Corporation. Emma glanced around her office, half expecting to see someone lurking in the shadows, but the space remained eerily still. Just her and the book. She took a step back, but the very air around her felt charged, as if the walls themselves were pushing her toward the mystery she had unearthed. "What do you want from me?" she whispered into the silence, the tremor in her voice echoing back at her. She dared not turn away, the pull was too strong. Each word she spoke seemed to draw the whispers closer. With an unsteady hand, she opened the book. The pages fluttered quickly, revealing images that danced and shifted, evoking emotions she couldn't quite name. Fear gripped her spine like icy fingers. This was no ordinary book, it was alive, breathing, waiting for her decision. Each illustration told stories of power, of tragic heroes entwined with tragic fates. The courage it took to pursue knowledge, and the horrors that often followed. Suddenly, a shadow flickered across the page, sending a shiver through her. Emma squinted, trying to focus. Was it just her imagination? No. The shadow morphed, manifesting into shapes she couldn't comprehend. Panic bubbled up. This was a dangerous game. The hunger that had driven her to this point vanished for a split second, replaced by the gnawing instinct to survive. Almost on cue, the whispers erupted into chaos. Desperate cries filled her mind, urging her to close the book, to run, but the part of her that craved power wouldn't let her. No, she murmured, shaking her head, resisting. I need to know. As if responding to her defiance, the whispers evolved into a single, commanding voice, smooth but cold. Emma, you seek knowledge, yet you shun the truth. Are you willing to pay the price? Chills ran down her spine. What did that mean? The price? Emma glanced at her reflection in a glass frame hanging on the wall. Her own pale face stared back at her. Was she willing to sacrifice her well-being, her sanity, her humanity? In a frantic rush, she flipped through the pages, desperately searching for something, anything that might reveal the price of knowledge. Her breath quickened as she began to see images of figures bound in chains of words, their hungry eyes filled with regret. A knot twisted in her stomach. Was this who she was becoming? The thought sent her spiraling. She slammed the book shut. The echo of the impact reverberated in the empty office, breaking the tension in a rush of sound. Suddenly, the room felt colder, emptier, like the shadows were pulling back, retreating. She had done the unthinkable. She was questioning the call to this darkness. But the knock at her door shattered the silence. Hard and frantic. Emma jumped, heart pounding again. Who could it be at this hour? Emma. A familiar voice tore through the chilled air, panic lacing the words. Are you in there? We need to talk. It was Vanessa, her trusted assistant, but what could possibly warrant this intrusion? Fear gripped Emma once more. Had she crossed too far into the unknown? What would Vanessa see if she opened the door? Emma stood frozen, torn between the compelling secrets of the book and the reality of her world crashing in around her. Would she reveal what she had discovered, or safeguard it, knowing the darkness that came with power? The weight of her decision pressed heavily on her shoulders, and the phone buzzed on her desk, the light flashing ominously. As she glanced down, she froze. A message appeared. You don't know what you've unleashed. What had she done? The true consequences of her choices lay ahead like a jagged cliff. Would she step off? Or would she find a way to reclaim the light? With every heartbeat, the whispers reminded her of her obsession. The questions lingered, each one more chilling than the last. Emma knew she had stepped into dangerous territory, but now the real challenge had only just begun. What awaited her as the threshold of her pact neared? Emma's mind raced. She could hear Vanessa's anxious voice just outside the door, the urgency clawing at her. Emma. Please. It's important. The reverberating sound of the knocking echoed like a drum in her ears, drowning out the lingering whispers from the book. There was no time to think. No time to breathe. Should she confess the truth? Should she let Vanessa in and risk exposing everything? But the fear that hung in the air felt crackling, electrifying. Something told her secrets were meant to be guarded. The vibrating phone gave an ominous buzz. Ignoring it wasn't an option. Each buzz echoed her own heartbeat like a warning siren. Time was slipping through her fingers. Emma. Vanessa's voice was sharper now. Open up. She took a breath. Why did Vanessa sound so scared? What could be happening outside the safety of her office? With trembling hands, Emma stepped toward the door, her heart hammering against her ribcage like a prisoner trying to escape. Hold on. She called out, turning the lock with shaky fingers. As she opened the door, Vanessa stumbled in, her face pale and eyes wide. Emma's heart sank. This wasn't a simple visit. What's wrong? Emma forced the words out, trying to suppress the tremor in her voice. Vanessa closed the door quickly, glancing back as if afraid someone might follow her. You won't believe what just happened, she panted, catching her breath. What? Emma demanded, instinctively stepping back to the desk, where the book lay like a dormant beast. There's been an incident. A break-in over at the main labs, Vanessa whispered, her words tumbling out in a rush. Some files were stolen, classified documents about the new research initiative. Emma's stomach twisted. Breaking into Helix Corp? It felt impossible. But as she looked at Vanessa's fearful expression, a dark realization began to settle in. The book, the power of the knowledge she had just encountered. What if it was tied to this incident? Do you think it's related? Emma managed to ask, dread pooling in her gut. Vanessa nodded, her brow furrowed in concern. I think it's worse than we thought. You've always been drawn to this project, but now her voice trailed off, as if the consequence was too great to articulate. Emma's thoughts whirled, battling against her curiosity and the weight of impending danger. How many people know about the book? She asked, desperation creeping into her tone. No one else. At least, not yet, Vanessa answered, pacing the room. But if they figure it out, it could be disastrous. We need to conceal everything. Destroy any traces. Panic clawed at Emma's throat. How could she do that? The book was a key, a vessel that could either unleash untold power or devastating chaos. I can't destroy it, Vanessa. I feel it calling to me. Vanessa halted, staring at her, her expression shifting from concern to horror. Emma, you have to understand, it's not just about you anymore. Whatever is in there, it shouldn't fall into the wrong hands. If someone knows what we're working with. A chill washed over Emma as the implications sank into her bones. What if they take it? What if they did this because of it? Vanessa's eyes darkened. Then everything we fear has a face now. We have to act fast. Are you ready to make a choice? Emma recoiled, the weight of both desire and dread crashing down on her. The whispers in her head were growing frantic, urging and warning. In that moment, a decision loomed. The edge of the abyss widened beneath her. Do we protect the knowledge? Emma asked, the gravity of her words hanging thick in the air, the shadows chanting softly, weaving around them. Vanessa stared at her, eyes burning with urgency. If we go down this path, Emma, we may not be able to come back. Yet, like a moth drawn to flame, Emma felt the irresistible pull. What lay ahead? Just as she opened her mouth to respond, the lights flickered in the office, plunging them into darkness. Emma? Vanessa's voice trembled. The phone buzzed again, the screen flashing ominously. A new message appeared, they're coming for you. Time stalled as dread cascaded downward. Would she embrace the shadows or fight the coming storm? Something wicked was already stirring in the dark. What awaited Emma on the other side of that decision? The darkness seemed to swallow Emma whole. She felt her way back to the desk, instinctively reaching for the book, its presence now more intimidating than ever. The shadows danced around her, the verbose whispers crescendoing as she clutched the spine, as if it might provide solace or insight. Turn on your phone's flashlight, Emma instructed, her voice a shaky whisper. Vanessa fumbled in her bag, the light flickering on and immediately illuminating the room with a hesitant glow. Shadows stretched and twisted unnaturally, distorting the familiar space. Emma could see Vanessa's face, taut with fear, mirrored her own rising dread. Do you think the break-in? Vanessa's voice wavered. Maybe. But why now? Why this? Emma replied, her chest tightening at the implications. We have to figure out what they want. As if responding to her inquiry, a loud crash echoed from the hallway, followed by hurried footsteps. Emma instinctively moved closer to the door, pressing her ear against it, adrenaline racing through her veins. What was that? She breathed. I don't know, Vanessa hissed, trembling. A second crash made the door shudder, and Emma's heart dropped. It wasn't just a break-in. They were coming for something specific. The air in the room felt thick and suffocating. Emma, we can't just hide here. We have to make a plan. Vanessa urged, her eyes wild. If they know about the files and about the book, everything could be at risk. Emma turned towards the desk, the book radiating an almost palpable energy. We can't let anyone find it, but what if we use it against them? If we can understand it first, Emma, think. We don't know how powerful it really is. We might be playing with fire. Desperation clawed at Emma's throat. But if we don't act, they'll seize everything. We cannot afford that. As the footsteps grew louder, reverberating like a countdown to disaster, Vanessa's expression shifted. They could be here at any moment, she said, her resolve cracking. We need to decide now. Emma's fingers brushed against the book's cover, feeling a pulse beneath her touch. All right. Let us open it. But we do it together. Her heartbeat drummed in her ears as Vanessa nodded, fear giving way to reluctant courage. They both took a breath, the tension electric, the weight of their decision looming over them like a dark cloud. On 3, Vanessa said, her voice steadier now. 1, 2, 3. With trembling hands, they opened the book. The light from Vanessa's phone illuminated cryptic symbols and fragmented diagrams. The air thickened as if reality itself was holding its breath. The whispers rose in a crescendo, swirling around them, crackling with anticipation. What is this? Emma murmured, her fear mingling with intrigue. All these formulas, it's like it's alive, Vanessa's voice quavered, transfixed by the words. Suddenly, the book shuddered, sending a shockwave through the office. The walls rattled, and the lights flickered violently. Both women staggered back, eyes wide. Then, a guttural voice echoed from within the pages, chilling them to the bone. You dare awaken the knowledge? They froze, the reality of their choice crashing down around them like sharp glass shards. Something had awakened, not just their fears, but something that had lain dormant and dangerous for far too long. Close it. Close it. Emma shouted, panic surging through her, but the words felt futile as they were anchored by an unshakable grip on the pages. Their fate was now entwined with whatever being lurked in the depths of the book, and it was clear the stakes had escalated beyond their control. Outside, footsteps thundered closer, relentless. The door rattled violently as if something or someone was trying to force its way in. Emma! Vanessa screamed, her eyes wide with terror. We have to decide now, are we venturing further, or sealing this for good? What choice remained when the darkness had already surged in? Emma's heart raced as she weighed that dark decision. As the shadows clawed at their crowning fears, one question burned in her mind: was their desire for knowledge worth the price? To choose was to risk everything. Would their next move deliver them into the hands of fate or set them free? The echoes of the voice lingered, wrapping around Emma and Vanessa like tendrils of smoke, curling into their lungs. Emma's mind raced. What are we supposed to do? Panic gripped her. We have to understand what it wants, Vanessa replied, her voice trembling. Yet there was a flicker of defiance in her eyes. But how? The door shuddered again, the force outside relentless. Each impact sent vibrations through the floor, like a drumbeat counting down their seconds. Look at the symbols. Emma nodded toward the book, trying to concentrate despite the oppressive atmosphere. The light from the phone's beam barely pierced the darkness, and the whispers grew more urgent, clawing at her sanity. Vanessa turned her attention back to the open pages with a determination that surprised Emma. Maybe it's trying to communicate. Suddenly, the air grew icy, and the book flared bright, illuminating the room for the briefest moment. It transformed into a portal of chaos, shadows swirling into one another. Emma squinted, catching glimpses of other worlds, of silhouettes mimicking their fear. Before they could absorb the bizarre spectacle, the guttural voice boomed again: knowledge comes at a price. Will you pay it? Emma felt sick, her stomach knotting with a mix of terror and anticipation. What does it mean? She whispered, gripping the desk to steady herself. But Vanessa leaned closer, her face illuminated with a dangerous spark. Maybe it's a challenge. If we can decipher what's here, we could take control, push back whatever wants this. Are you insane? Emma shot back, heart racing. We don't know what that costs. We can't just sit here and wait to be taken. We need to act. Vanessa said, the ferocity of her voice cutting through the hovering dread. Okay. Emma exhaled, forcing the words through her tightening throat. Let us look deeper. She placed her hand on the book, trembling but resolute. What's it saying? As the pages whispered to them, symbols flickered in and out of focus, revealing unsettling images: a circle, a triangle, a series of incantations. Each one pulsed with a rhythmic beat, almost as if the book had a heartbeat, synchronizing with the frantic thumping of their own. Here! Vanessa exclaimed, fingers trembling over a diagram that looked like a key. It says, speak the name of your fear, and the path will reveal itself. A name? Emma's heart raced. I can't do that. What if Emma? Vanessa shouted. Use your voice, or we're done for. The words hung in the air. Emma closed her eyes, panic gripping her like an iron vice. Her deepest fear, a monstrous figment that had chased her for years, rose up before her. Okay. Her voice came out almost as a whisper, cracking under pressure. I fear losing myself. A sudden gust of wind flared in the room, chilling them to the bone. The book thrummed violently as radiant energy cascaded around them. The whispers transformed into a chaotic roar, echoing the very dread that gripped Emma's heart. Louder! Vanessa shouted, waving her hand around the room as if to chase away the shadows. You have to claim it. Losing myself. Emma screamed, the volume ripping from her throat, ringing through the darkened office. As she said those words, the air shifted, condensing with an oppressive weight. An unseen force pressed against them, sending both women crashing to the floor. Their bodies froze as a momentary silence fell around them. For one breathless instant, the shadows receded, revealing a faint glimmer of light, a doorway. It flickered tantalizingly, inviting and yet foreboding. What do we do now? Vanessa stammered, staring wide-eyed at the portal. Do we cross it? Or will we fall deeper into the unknown? Emma's heartbeat pounded in her ears as they both faced the nascent door, uncertainty swirling. The footsteps outside surged once more, the door tumbling against its frame. Time was running out, pressing heavily upon them. Vanessa whispered. What if we aren't ready for this? But there was no time left to ponder. The shadows pulsed angrily, and the decision lay stark in front of them, now or never, with one final glance at each other. A quiet agreement hummed in the air. They stood, hearts racing, as the shimmering doorway beckoned, but in the depths of their minds, the shadows whispered still, demanding. Would they find knowledge or succumb to darkness? As their hands gripped the door, a chilling thought struck Emma. What if the knowledge they sought could unravel who they truly were? The answers waited just beyond the threshold, and whether it'd bring freedom or doom lingered in the air like a heavy fog. The door creaked ominously as Emma and Vanessa stepped closer, the air thickening with anticipation. The shimmering outline pulsed like a heartbeat, drawing them in, urging them to make a choice. A cyclone of emotions surged inside Emma, a blend of fear, desperation, and something close to exhilaration. What if we step through and it's a trap? Vanessa's voice quivered with uncertainty. Emma swallowed hard. Then we deal with it. Together. The flames of determination flickered in Vanessa's eyes as she nodded, her fear compounded by a newfound bravery. Maybe this was the moment they had to seize. They took a deep breath, and with a shared resolve, they thrust themselves through the portal. The sensation was like being sucked through a vacuum, a rush of wind and sound that echoed in their ears. When the world stopped spinning, they found themselves in a dimly lit room, the air tinged with scents of damp earth and burnt something acrid. The very ground felt alive, pulsating beneath them. Is this another dimension? Emma breathed, her voice barely a whisper, as if louder sound might shatter the strange reality around them. Vanessa shined her phone around, its light revealing twisted trees that seemed to grow from a corrupted soil, their branches gargling and writhing as if they were alive. This feels wrong, Vanessa murmured. With each step forward, the darkness deepened, coiling around them like a snake preparing to strike. Emma felt a presence lurking just beyond her vision, an oppressive weight pressing at the edges of her mind. Then came the whispers, familiar yet foreign, weaving in and out of her consciousness. Names, memories, fragments of her life spiraled through her thoughts, shaping a tapestry of her hidden fears. It's so much, Emma gasped, her heart racing. Focus. Vanessa urged, her voice slicing through the thick haze. We can't lose ourselves here. Suddenly, the shadows intensified, morphing into swirling forms, twisting into figures that bore the faces of those they loved, those they had lost. Each face distorted into expressions of disappointment and anger. Tales of regret and sorrow shaped into figures that beckoned, wailing her name. No, no, no. Emma squeezed her eyes shut. This can't be real. Emma. Vanessa grabbed her shoulders, shaking her slightly. Don't look away. We have to find the truth, whatever that means. Then the ground beneath them trembled violently, splintering their focus. The swirling figures grew louder, shouting their fears back at them, a cacophony of anguish blending with the echoes of trapped souls. You're not meant to be here. You don't belong. The agony of those lost souls filled Emma with a chilling resolve. This is our fear, Vanessa. We have to confront it. And with that, she inhaled deeply, her breath a defiance against the chaos. I fear losing my connection to what identifies me. The moment she spoke, the room erupted in blinding light, cutting through the noise like a knife. The figures screamed and fell back, the cries becoming a symphony of chaos. Shadowy tendrils lashed out, trying to ensnare them, but Emma planted her feet. Face it. She yelled into the storm. Know who you are. A sudden stillness followed, profound and heavy. The light expanded, casting away the dark figures, revealing a shimmering path amidst a translucent haze. Through the chaos, a voice rang out, clear as glass. To reclaim your essence, forsake the fear, step forth. Emma. Vanessa's voice was frantic. What do we do? This might be our way home, Emma said, locking eyes with her friend. But doubt crept back in. What if it asks for something we can't give? They stood at the threshold of the shimmering path, breaths shallow, uncertain of the price to be paid for the knowledge they sought. But lurking behind them, the whispers still clawed for attention, desperate to reclaim their hold. The moment stretched as Emma felt the tug of the unknown calling. Together? She asked, grabbing Vanessa's hand. Together, Vanessa affirmed, both resolved and terrified. With one final push, they took the first step forward, hearts racing. Ready to confront whatever lay ahead, but the exit began to fade, leaving only the chilling uncertainty of what they might lose in their pursuit of truth. How much of themselves would they have to sacrifice to silence the darkness? As they crossed deeper into the light, the shadows whispered one last time, "You're not alone, but you'll wish you had been." What awaited them on the other side remained a mystery, a turn into the unknown that would forever change their lives. The light enveloped them, a strange warmth coursing through their skin, and for a moment, fear melted away into something softer. Hope. Or was it the calm before a storm? Emma and Vanessa stepped fully into the shimmering path, determined despite the nagging doubts that clawed at their minds. As the light dimmed around them, they found themselves standing in what looked like a vast, circular chamber. It had walls shimmering like liquid silver and a ceiling that stretched into infinity, filled with a vortex of swirling colors. The air was thick with electricity, crackling subtly, sending shivers down Emma's spine. It felt alive, pulsating with a rhythm that resonated deep within her. Where are we? Vanessa's voice broke the silence, but it seemed swallowed by the oppressive atmosphere. Maybe it's a kind of trial? Emma suggested, every word heavy with uncertainty. Just as she finished speaking, a figure emerged from the shadows, cloaked in darkness, imposing yet oddly familiar. As it stepped closer, the faint glimmers of light revealed features Emma recognized from the very depths of her heart, her mother. But this was no comforting presence, rather, it was a distorted version, eyes aflame with disappointment, mouth twisted in an agonized glare. Emma, the figure said, voice echoing like shattered glass. You shouldn't have come here. Emma's stomach twisted. Mom. Do you really think you can escape your past? The apparition boomed, the room vibrating with each word. The choices you made led you here. You ran away, didn't you? Stop it. Vanessa shouted, stepping protectively in front of Emma. This isn't real. Isn't it? The figure smirked, its form rippling. This is your guilt. Your inability to face the truth. Emma felt panic clawing at her chest. No, you're wrong. I came here to seek answers, not to relive this. From behind her mother, more figures emerged, each one a reflection of Emma's life choices, each face filled with accusation. Friends she'd abandoned, dreams she'd suffocated, their eyes bore into her, igniting every crack of regret that had formed in her heart. Face us, Emma. They cried in unison. Wouldn't you rather bury your head? But this will always be waiting for you. The ache in her chest intensified. Would this be all there was? A cruel reminder of everything she wanted to forget. Wearing her bravery like armor, Emma took a step forward. I'm not running anymore. I know who I am. The apparition of her mother laughed, a sound sharp like shards of glass. And who is that? The girl who abandoned it all. With tears welling in her eyes, Emma screamed back, the girl who is fighting to reclaim her life. The girl who refuses to be defined by her mistakes. I can change. The kaleidoscope swirl of colors around them intensified in response, and the chamber trembled as it seemed to absorb her words. The shadows strained against her fiery resolve, twisting, morphing into something darker and more chaotic. Your truth lies within. A voice rang out, deeper, churning like the wind. But the cost will be great. Emma. Vanessa's voice broke through the chaos, laced with urgency. We can fight this, but we have to be strong together. Surrounded by the cacophony, Emma felt the bond of their friendship grounding her. The vision of the chamber and its torment melted into the walls, their sinister forms shaking as if they too acknowledged the truth. Together Emma breathed, taking Vanessa's hand tight. Together, we can face whatever it is. As they raised their linked hands, the shadows recoiled, and a blinding wave of light surged toward them. The beam of energy enveloped their bodies, stripping away the darkness like peeling an old paint layer from a forgotten wall, but what lay ahead seemed to pulse with possibility and danger. Would they find the answers they sought, or would the shadows pull them back into despair? Just as the light seemed poised to shatter the remnants of their fears, the chamber shook violently, and the ground beneath them opened, revealing a deep chasm of darkness. What now? Vanessa gasped, clutching Emma's arm tighter. Maybe it's a choice we must make, Emma said, heart pounding yet determined. As the abyss beckoned them with a haunting whisper, they teetered on the edge, staring into the void that held their futures. Do we jump? Emma whispered, fear and exhilaration mingling in her veins. And as gravity pulled on them, the darkness whispered, only the brave can find the light. What if they weren't alone? What new truths awaited them if they dared to leap into the unknown? With a sudden rush, Emma and Vanessa propelled themselves into the abyss, arms intertwined. The sensation of falling swallowed them in a cacophony of color, sound, and fury. It felt like they were suspended in time, trapped in a whirlwind of memories and dreams, swirling around them like crashing waves. The fear of the fall melted into raw anticipation, twisting through their bellies like electricity. Then, without warning, they landed on solid ground, not soft and yielding, but rough and jagged, like shattered glass. They stumbled, regaining their balance in an eerie, dimly lit cave, the walls slick with moisture. A ghostly light shimmered ahead, leading them deeper into this strange new realm. "Are we safe?" Vanessa whispered, eyes darting across the shadows, expecting the figures from before to emerge at any moment. I think so. But we need to keep moving," Emma replied, her pulse still racing. The uncertainty loomed like a storm cloud, heavy and oppressive. She could feel the weight of her past bearing down on her shoulders. As they ventured forward, the walls shifted, revealing intricate carvings that seemed to tell stories of others who had come into this space long before. Faces, expressions of anguish and determination mingled, each seemingly etched in a moment of reckoning. "What if they were just like us?" Vanessa murmured, tracing her fingers along the jagged stone. "What if they faced the same darkness?" Emma's heart ached at the thought. Maybe they did, and maybe they found a way through. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath their feet, and from the shadows, a swirling mist formed into a figure tall, cloaked, and intimidating. This time, there were no familiar features, only an air of authority that commanded attention. "You're not alone, but you must choose how to proceed," it rumbled, voice echoing as if from the very depths of the cave. "Who are you?" Emma managed, her voice steadying despite the adrenaline flooding her senses. "I am a guardian of choices, a keeper of truths. You've faced your shadows, but now the real test begins. To find light, you must confront your greatest fear." "What does that mean?" Vanessa interjected, her voice laced with both courage and trepidation. A broad grin split the figure's shadowy face, revealing teeth like shards of light. "You will relive the moments that haunt you most. Only by accepting them will you gain the power to overcome." Panic coursed through Emma. Relive her regrets? No. I can't go back to that. Her mind flashed to her mother's accusation, the flood of disappointment. Regret twisted like a knife in her heart. "Fear not, for you are stronger than you believe," the guardian replied, a strange compassion woven in the depths of its voice. "It will be painful, but healing comes from facing what you wish to forget." As it spoke, the cave began to swirl into a tempest of light and shadow, pulling at their bodies. Emma tightened her grip on Vanessa's hand, her determination surging. "We can do this together." "Yes." Vanessa shouted back, fear transforming into fierce resolve. "We're stronger together." With a collective breath, they surged forward into the vortex, ready to confront whatever awaited them. They entered a swirling vision, where shadows of their past unfurled before them like a movie reel, moments of loss, pain, decisions that had shattered them. At the forefront of the montage, Emma saw herself hurt, broken, lost. She watched as her younger self clung desperately to fragments of hope, only to be crushed under the weight of doubt and despair. Tears filled her eyes as she felt the echoes of that anguish, but woven into the tapestry was a bright flicker. Vanessa's unwavering gaze, a warm light piercing through the fog. Emma realized it was the love and support of friendship that would carry them through. Just as she began to reach out, wanting to reshape that moment, everything halted. An eerie silence settled, and a voice, chilling and dark, erupted from the shadows. "Will you face the truth, or succumb to the darkness?" Emma stood on the precipice of everything she ever wanted. Could she let go of the pain? Her voice broke the silence, steady and defiant. "I will. I choose to face it." But the shadows shivered and twisted, ready to consume her once more. Will it be enough? Vanessa's eyes widened as they were pulled deeper into the whirlwind of memories. And with that, the boundary between despair and healing blurred, leaving them teetering on the brink of a moment that could change everything or tear them apart forever. Time twisted around Emma and Vanessa as they tumbled deeper into the void. With a deafening rush, they were bombarded by flickers of memory, sharp as glass and heavy as lead. The echoes of their past surrounded them, a cacophony that demanded attention. Emma faced a stark scene: her childhood home, bathed in flickering lights and shadows. The scent of musty wood and stale air filled her nostrils as she saw her younger self standing there, eyes wide and bewildered, just before the storm broke. "You will never amount to anything." Her mother's voice pierced the air, raw and heavy with disappointment. Emma felt the weight of those words like an anchor, dragging her down into despair. No. Please, not this. Emma shrieked, fighting against the vortex, struggling to step forward and shield the girl she used to be, but the memory shoved her aside, forcing her to relive it. Vanessa, too, was engulfed in her past. She found herself on the field, the sun glowing above in a bright blue sky. Around her were familiar faces, friends, teammates. The moment froze as she heard the sound of a whistle, then a shout pierced through the laughter. You aren't cut out for this, Vanessa. Just give it up. A weighty silence settled around her as their laughter faded, replaced by the harsh critique that had echoed in her mind for years. Tears pricked her eyes, but she fought to hold on. Shut up. I'm more than your words. She shouted, but no one could hear. As they navigated through their whirlwind of memories, the guardian's voice emerged, its authority resonating once more. You can only push forward by confronting what you've tried to bury. Each moment you face will bring you closer to power. Power, it was a concept Emma had always been afraid of. Her heart raced as flashes of her unfulfilled dreams flickered past. Would they ever see light? She felt Vanessa's hand squeezing hers, a lifeline in the storm, igniting something within her. Trust me, Emma. We can't let fear control us. Vanessa shouted, her voice ringing with determination. The shadows around them thickened, swirling dangerously as more memories enshrouded them. Emma could see faces etched with agony, hers, Vanessa's, and others fading in and out like ghosts of the past that haunted them. They were little shards of everything they wished they'd forgotten. Then, the chilling voice broke through again. You seek to heal the wounds of your heart, but will the truth drive you apart or make you stronger? A flash of clarity hit Emma in that moment. This was their chance, a chance to rewrite the narrative, to refuse the chains of blame and shame that had hindered them for too long. If we can harness this pain, use it as fuel instead of chains, she said breathlessly. Yes. We can rewrite the script of our lives. Vanessa shouted, now standing strong, not as a victim but as a warrior. Together they took a step forward, eyes locked on the torrential wave of darkness ahead. But the shadows surged, laughing, hissing in a voice that vibrated with fear. You think love and friendship can save you? You will fail. Lightning struck with realization. Their bond wasn't just a light, it was a shield. As they stood side by side, they lifted their heads, a fierce fire igniting their souls. Love burned through pain. Hope cast shadows away. But just as they surged toward the swirling mass of fear, a piercing scream erupted from behind them. It wasn't theirs. Something more sinister was lurking, more substantial than their past fears. With raw panic clutching at their throats, they turned. What emerged from the shadows was a silhouette formidable and dark, flickering like an ember covered in ash. It loomed over them, casting an ominous chill through the air. Your time is running out, the figure announced, each word a nail in their coffin of dread. You face the truth, but will it lead you to the exit or trap you in eternal regret? The air thickened with urgency, the weight of their challenge pressing upon them. They had to confront not only their past but this new and terrifying darkness before it consumed them. What do we do? Vanessa murmured, her voice trembling but fierce. Emma, with resolve coursing through her veins, replied, we turn our pain into power. We face it together. But would that be enough to conquer the darkness? They took a step forward, prepared to battle, ready to embrace the light lurking in the shadows, and behind them, the figure's lips curled in a sinister grin, a promise of chaos lurking just within reach. With a surge of determination, Emma and Vanessa stepped toward the ominous figure, hearts pounding, voices echoing like twin drums of defiance against the dark. The insidious laughter of the shadows wrapped around them, taunting, clawing like invisible hands. Yet, standing together, the fear began to fade. Remember why we're here, Emma said, her gaze locked onto the sinister form. We're not just facing our past, we're reclaiming our future. Every word felt like a lifeline, and the strength of their friendship surged between them, lighting a fire in their hearts. Together, Vanessa echoed, squeezing Emma's hand tighter. No more running. No more hiding. The figure loomed, a shapeless cloud of darkness, but with every heartbeat, every step they took forward, it seemed less imposing. Emma's memories flashed her mother's accusations, the fear of failure, the haunting weight of regret. They were pieces of a puzzle, but this time, she chose to view them as lessons. You think I'm weak? She challenged, voice steady. You're just shadows. You thrive on fear, but by standing here, I take my power back. The entity recoiled as if struck, the walls trembled, shifting in reaction to Emma's defiance. The laughter turned to a shriek, and the air thickened. Foolish girl. It bellowed, shadows crackling like thunder. You expose yourself to the truth, but it may consume you. I'm not afraid of the truth. Vanessa shouted, her fierce gaze locking onto the dark mass. We've carried it long enough. It's time to rise above it. Their voices melded, and a warm light began to glow around them, pulsating with the strength of their bond. With every shared moment of laughter, forgiveness, and support, the light brightened, pushing against the oppressive darkness. Now! Emma shouted. Let us finish what we started. Together. Both of them stepped into the light, holding tightly to each other, anchoring their fears and doubts into the brilliance radiating from within them. They centered their focus on the swirling shadows, ready to break free of every past injury, and pushed forward. The entity shrieked as the blinding light expanded, engulfing everything around. You cannot escape me. I will always be a part of you. The light flared, becoming an ethereal shield between them and the darkness. Emma felt the warmth of hope flood her veins, embracing her with each comforting pulse. You're wrong. She exclaimed, each word palpable, filled with fire. You're not me. You don't control my destiny. A powerful wave swept through the chamber, crashing against the dark force. Emma and Vanessa locked eyes, and without a word, they understood. They were more than their past, they were warriors of their own story. The shadows writhed, the air crackling with energy as truth collided with fear. You cannot silence me. Came the echo, but it was losing its power along with the pitch of its voice. The light intensified, cascading over everything, illuminating the chamber, revealing paths and choices long obscured by despair. The entity shrank, its form wavering as if caught between worlds. Keep pushing. Vanessa encouraged, and Emma nodded, pouring every ounce of strength and every memory of unity into the light. A final surge propelled them forward, and with one united cry, they proclaimed, "We are free. We define who we are." In that instant, the darkness shattered like glass, splintering into nothingness. The remnants swirled, revealing a tapestry of shimmering lights that spiraled into vibrant colors painting the walls. Emma gasped, the chamber transformed, blooming into a radiant place of possibility, filled with the echoes of those who had come before, now guiding them with warmth rather than despair. The oppressive weight lifted completely, replaced with a new clarity. Look! Emma pointed, and as they turned, they saw paths leading outward, possibilities waiting, beckoning them with a gentle glow. They shared a smile, understanding the journey they had traversed. No longer shackled by their past, they were ready to embrace whatever awaited them. Let us go, Emma said, a thrill rushing through her. This is just the beginning. As they ventured forward, hand in hand, the world outside shimmered brightly. Together, they would confront new challenges, but this time they were not alone. They held on to each other, a steadfast bond as their guiding light. And the shadows that once haunted them? They simply became memories, lessons nestled softly in their hearts, lighter than air as they embraced what lay ahead. The freedom washed over them like a cleansing tide, and every step into the light felt like affirmation of their choice. That I in that vast, colorful expanse, the whispers of the past transformed into murmurs of strength, and as they embarked on this fresh journey, they realized that the true power lay not in knowledge alone but in the connections forged in love and understanding. The adventure may have only just begun, but they were ready for it, each other's arms wrapped tightly around their futures. and as they disappeared into the brilliance, the whispers faded into encouragement, a reminder that together, they could conquer anything. Now, it's time for you to embrace your own journey. If you love this wild conclusion, you need to subscribe now to catch all the exclusive stories ahead. This is the moment to show your support. Smash the like button immediately to scream to the algorithm. Flood our comments section with your thoughts and theories, it matters. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with 5 friends who need to witness this journey. Spread the love and help our community grow. Let's dive into more adventures together.